Hello Year 10. So this is the last part of the simultaneous equations topic. So what we're doing today is solving simultaneous equations graphically. So you only do this if they use the word graphically or mention something about the word graphs. If they don't use the word graphs and they just say solve or they say solve simultaneously, then you just do it the way you've been doing it with the elimination method or the substitution method. But if you see the word graphically or something to do about drawing graphs, then you have to actually draw the graphs of the two equations they give you on the same number plane. You find the point of intersection, and then when you write the solution, you don't write it just as a point. You have to write it as x equals and y equals, because they want to know the values of the two letters that you're dealing with. In the case of graphs, it'll always be x and y. But as you see later, we are going to be looking at some graphs that don't have an x-axis and a y-axis, but they might have an m-axis and a t-axis, or a t-axis with an s-axis. So the letters might be something different to x and y. Okay, so to start with, we're looking at this equation here, these two equations, y equals 2x and y equals 3 minus x. They've asked us to solve it graphically. So that means we have to draw both of these graphs on the same number plane. So if we look at them one at a time, the first one is y equals 2x. That's a straight line. I want you to write that down. At the moment, we're just going to be doing, everything will be a straight line, but we will develop it later into other sorts of graphs as well. So write down it is a straight line, and the only way I've taught you to do a graph for a straight line is to find the y-intercept and the x-intercept. So the y-intercept, we make x equals 0, so copy down your equation, put 0 in for x, and work out what you've got here for y. Then we start again with an x-intercept heading. That's when y equals 0. Start with your equation and put in 0 for y and solve it to get to x equals 0. Now on this one, you'll remember when we did the graphs of straight lines before, sometimes you get the exact same point coming out. So this is the point 0, 0, and this is the point 0, 0. And that's not enough to draw a line, so we need an extra point. I always let x equal 1. I've told you before you don't need to use x equals 1, but it's the easiest number to use other than the 0, which has already been used. So always let x equal 1 because it's easier. So we're going to write our equation down, put in 1 for x, and solve it and get your y value. So we've got x equals 1 and y equals 2, put them together in a point. Make sure you keep your organised working with your headings, because otherwise you're going to be in the middle of this and go, what am I doing? So make sure you've got let x equals 1, y equals 2, then you can put them together because you know you're finding an extra point. Okay, we're moving on to the other equation they gave us, y equals 3 minus x. And I've done all the working for this in red, just so you don't get mixed up when we get to drawing our graphs. So y equals 3 minus x is a straight line. We're finding the y-intercept, make x equals 0, copy down your equation and put 0 in for x, and you get y equals 3. Then for the x-intercept, we make y equals 0, copy down your equation, put 0 in for y, and solve it. You get x equals 3. So we're going to graph these lines now. So this one here, the blue working, I'm going to draw as a blue line. So we found out here that we have a point 0, 0, or a y-intercept of 0, and an x-intercept of 0, and a point 1, 2. So here's our y-intercept of 0, here's our x-intercept of 0, and here's our point 1, 2. So there's our 2 points. Get your ruler and join through with your blue line. With the red working, we have a y-intercept of 3, we have an x-intercept of 3, so we're going to make our y-intercept 3, our x-intercept 3, and get your red pen and draw straight through. Now after you look at your 2 straight lines, you've got to read off the point of intersection. It's not always going to be as nice as this one, because this is easy to read off. Our point of intersection is 1, 2, and that means that our answer will be x equals 1, y equals 2, coming from the point of intersection. But sometimes you might see your point of intersection falls maybe halfway between numbers or maybe a quarter. Just read it off as best you can. They will allow, if it's dealing with sort of a third or a quarter or something, they'll allow a little bit of leeway. But examiners are not trying to make things hard for themselves. So if it is falling, you know, if it was here, I would call that the point 1, 2.5. Okay, so it's probably, if it's between two numbers, it would be the half. Okay, the next question. We're dealing with x plus y equals 3 and 4x plus y equals 6. We are solving graphically. So we take the first one, x plus y equals 3, and we're going to write down that it's a straight line. We know we've got to find a y-intercept and an x-intercept, so we'll go through it. Y-intercept is where x equals 0. Copy down your equation and put 0 in for x. You'll end up with y equals 3. The x-intercept is when y equals 0. Copy down your equation, put 0 in for y, and you'll get x equals 3. With the other graph, the other equation, we're doing it in red pen to just show it's different. 4x plus y equals 6, that's a straight line. The y-intercept we do where x equals 0. So copy down your equation, put the 0 in for x, and you'll end up with y equals 6. And down here for the x-intercept, when y equals 0, copy your equation, put your 0 in for y, and when you go through this, you're going to get x equals 6 over 4 to put in your calculator. Now, if you put that in your calculator, you will get 3 over 2 as the answer from the calculator. I want you to use the SD key or the Shift SD key to change that to a mixed numeral so that we have x equals 1.5. So I've written a note over here, mixed numerals are better for graphing, okay, because we don't want to be going, oh, okay, I've got 3 over 2, where is that? Okay, so I know where 1.5 is, that's easy to do. So always use mixed numerals when you are graphing. I'll come back in the next video and go through the rest of that.